Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different. We're taking just one single profound line of ancient wisdom.
Just one line?
Yeah, a proverb. It contrasts honor with foolishness, and we are going to unlock its deepest meaning. But not just through translation.
Right. We're looking at the physics of the original language itself.
Exactly.
We are diving into a lexical deep dive. Our sources, they haven't just given us a smooth English version. They've broken down the 7 key Hebrew words that actually structure this wisdom. 7
words holding all that meaning.
That's it. And our mission is to understand why the ancient writer chose these exact terms. That's kind of a shortcut, to grasping the deepest moral evaluation packed into this text.
Okay, so the proverb is, "It is an honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling." It sounds simple, but you're saying it's more like an entire system of moral mechanics.
Precisely. It hinges on this really sharp, almost you could say aggressive contrast between prudent self-restraint on one side
and turbulent folly on the other.
Exactly. And we're going to unpack this by looking at the specific way, and I mean that literally sometimes, of the words chosen.
Okay, let's start with the cornerstone then. The word for honor itself, kavod. Kavods. Our sources highlight that the literal root, KDBD, means heavy.
Heavy.
I mean, like physically heavy. That seems like a bizarre connection. Why would being heavy be the same as being honorable?
Well, it connects honor directly to the physical world. It gives it gravity, a real presence. Think about influence or maybe reputation.
Yeah.
The progression our sources trace is from being physically heavy to possessing a weighty presence, and that eventually comes to mean worthy of respect.
Oh, I see.
So the choice to use kavod here portrays honor not as, a status someone gives you like a medal or a title,
Right.
but as a felt moral value. You actually feel their presence, their substance.
So if you meet someone with real kavod, you don't just know they're important because of their job title or something. You actually sense their substance, feel the weight of their character, their decisions.
Exactly. It's the total opposite of being lightweight or superficial.
That makes sense.
And this is really vital because, in our modern world, we often mix up honor with just being loud or visible.
Yeah, visibility seems key today.
Right. We think influence means constant movement, constant noise. But this ancient concept, kavod, it says true influence, comes from being grounded. It's quiet substance.
I like that contrast, quiet substance versus loud visibility. Okay, so that weight is attributed lay-ish for a person. Now that sounds straightforward, but does it mean a specific kind of person, or is this meant to be universal?
Good question. It's definitely universal wisdom, but it's dressed in specific language. The noun ish just means man, or more broadly, person.
Okay.
But when you combine it with that preposition lay, which means to or for, the phrase frames this as a general principle. It applies to all of humanity.
So it's like an instruction manual saying, honor is available for a person, anyone who chooses to meet the conditions.
That's it, exactly. Anyone can achieve this weight. It's not reserved for, kings or priests or anything.
Okay, now we get to the action part. What does this grounded, weighty person actually do to get this honor? The text says they shevet. It's translated as to cease or refrain. But here's where it got really interesting for me. The root of shevet, it actually means to sit, dwell, or remain.
Right, to sit.
How does sitting down relate to ceasing from strife? Why that specific image?
Because the writer wants to emphasize that stopping the conflict, the cessation, it's an active choice. It's not just passively failing or giving up.
Okay, active choice.
If you just say to stop, well, that could imply you just couldn't continue, right?
Yes.
You gave up. But the structure of shevet here, it depicts the action tangibly, viscerally.
Yes.
The honorable person isn't just like walking away from the fight. They are actively choosing to halt their movement, to literally come to a stop and remain still, maybe right there, in the middle of the conflict zone.
Wow, that makes the kavod, the weight, feel physical again. They're grounding themselves, their weight, by literally choosing to sit still. That takes enormous self-control, doesn't it?
Absolutely. To choose to dwell in stillness when everything around you is chaos.
Yeah.
It transforms stopping from inaction into a real demonstration of power. It's the ultimate active moral choice.
Okay. And what are they choosing to sit away from? The text says meriv, from strife.
From strife, or dispute, yeah. That part seems simple enough on the surface.
Right. Riv is strife.
It is, but pay attention to the preposition there, from. It's actually a contraction of min. It doesn't just mean avoiding the fight generally.
What does it imply then?
It implies taking deliberate distance from the source of the strife, like forcefully cutting off your involvement.
Ah, okay. A decisive break.
Exactly. The language chosen here concisely states the exact vector, the direction of self-control required. It's total withdrawal from the conflict.
So putting it together for this first half, honor, kavod, is this quality of quiet, grounded character.
This weightiness.
Achieved through the deliberate, powerful action of sitting down, shevet, and actively removing yourself, mariv, from a fight.
You got it.
That's a powerful lesson, especially maybe in leadership. True strength isn't always shown by what you charge into, but maybe by what you consciously choose to stop and withdraw from.
That's a perfect summary. And now the proverb just pivots completely. Bam! We move from that person who possesses quiet weight
The kavod.
to the fool, the dynamic opposite whose actions just generate noise and chaos.
And the transition starts small, with vikol,
Oh.
just and every. But that little prefix and every, it feels like the writer really didn't want anyone thinking there were exceptions here.
You're absolutely right. That conjunction V, meaning and, plus kol, meaning all or every, it just universalizes the type of fool that's coming next.
No escape clause.
None. It presents the contrast as totally general. No exceptions. This isn't just one specific unfortunate person who happens to meddle. It's every kind of fool, defined by the characteristics that follow.
And that characteristic, that type, is the evil, the fool. Now, I think in modern English, we often hear fool and think stupid, maybe someone lacking IQ points.
Right, low intelligence.
But here, evil feels much more serious, like a moral designation.
It absolutely is. This term isn't really about practical knowledge or smarts. It's a moral evaluative term. This person fundamentally lacks self-control. They lack sound judgment.
Okay.
They consistently misjudge social situations, and that leads to, well, destruction, friction. They are inherently ungrounded, the polar opposite of kavod.
The anti-gravity person.
Huh, yeah, you could say that. Our sources really stress that this type of person becomes a category that actively increases social friction just because they lack the basic ability to exercise restraint.
They're like an engine driving turmoil.
Yeah.
And their character defect, it's revealed in the final word here. This one's really dynamic. Yitgala. The common translation is will be meddling. But the root, you pointed out, means to strip, to lay bare, or reveal. So what is the fool revealing by meddling? Themselves.
Exactly. This is the absolute sharpest contrast to shevet, the sitting, the stopping, the containing. The action here, Yitgala, depicts the fool actively making himself exposed, making himself showy.
Showy. How so?
The word is chosen, our sources argue, specifically because it means the fool's actions self-expose their inner immaturity, their lack of judgment.
So instead of sitting still and showing grounded character,
Like the honorable person.
they rush into the fray, and in doing that, they basically rip off their own mask of composure. They reveal their foolishness by meddling.
That's the idea. The foolishness isn't just in the meddling itself. The act of meddling is the exposure. It's like the ancient writer saw the fool as, I don't know, the human equivalent of throwing gasoline on a small fire.
Yeah, that's a good image.
They rush in, they amplify the dispute, make it bigger, noisier, and in that very process, they reveal exactly why they lack weight, why they lack wisdom. They can't help but show it.
Absolutely. Think about that huge difference in dynamics. The honorable person, shevet, they actively control themselves. They sit down, they contain and cut off the conflict. They sort of cover the situation with their grounded presence.
Right. Containing.
But the fool, Yitgala, they rush in, they remove the cover, they expose everything, they amplify the turmoil, and reveal their own lack of judgment while doing it.
It's constant outward-facing chaos versus that inward-facing quiet strength we talked about with kavod and shevet.
That sheds so much light on, well, on a lot of modern situations, especially maybe online dynamics.
Oh, definitely.
The person who's constantly amplifying drama, jumping into every single contentious thread, spreading friction everywhere, that seems like a perfect portrait of the evil in action, defined by this need to be exposed, to be showy, no matter the cost.
Yeah. They're essentially creating their own social turmoil simply by choosing to meddle, by choosing Yitgala.
It holds up perfectly, doesn't it? The proverb is basically giving us two physics equations for social influence.
I like that. Equation 1.
Weight, kavod, is achieved through active cessation.
Sure.
Shevet.
Equation 2.
Folly, uvel, leads inevitably to self-exposure and amplification of conflict. Yitgala.
And you have to choose which dynamic you want in defining you. That's the challenge. #text synthesis and final takeaway. So If we step back and look at the whole picture, this deep analysis of just these 7 specific Hebrew words, it really shows how the writer built this whole moral universe based on that physical contrast.
It's dark.
It really is. The first half is all about quiet, grounded strength that you achieve through deliberate restraint, holding back,
Sitting down.
And the second half is all about noisy, exposed weakness that comes from amplification, rushing in.
So what this proverb teaches us then, and why looking at the source language is so powerful, is that honor, real honor, is often found in the things you choose not to do. It completely reframes ceasing from strife. It's not passive avoidance. It's not weak in action. It's presented as an active, weighty moral choice that demonstrates real leadership, real character.
You want to be substantial. You have to learn how to stop.
Exactly. Be able to stop.
And that leads to a really profound point about applying this today. In a culture like ours that constantly pushes us towards activity, right? Constant engagement, rewarding whoever is loudest.
Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Right. This ancient wisdom feels pretty radical. It suggests the path to true influence, to real kavod, is often achieved by choosing the deliberate discipline of remaining silent or actively withdrawing.
Wow. Okay, so for you listening right now, if honor is defined by this weight you achieve through the active choice of stopping conflict,
That act of cessation.
what action are you currently engaged in? Maybe what debate, what online argument, what personal disagreement? That might actually benefit from you choosing active cessation,
Yeah.
choosing to shove it.
And this raises a really important question, I think, for all of us to consider. When is remaining silent or deliberately withdrawing from the fight? When is that the single most visible and impactful form of power you can actually exercise?
When does stepping back actually solidify your substance, your kavod?
Something to think about.